So without further ado, I will turn it over to Kayla from Potter County, who will do the spotlight. Kayla, you are up.
Hello, how is everybody this afternoon?
Well, doing well.
Very good.
Fine, thank you.
Good. So I'm Kayla Wright. I'm the CAPS coordinator and SAP liaison for mental health in Potter County. So a little bit about Potter County Human Services. Our mission is to serve and strengthen the families and children in Potter County through an accessible social services system that's based upon both the needs and resources of our communities. And our vision is that Potter County will be a safe place where families are well educated, responsible, and productive. We share the responsibilities of supporting our families and communities in the protection and education of our children and encouraging the development of healthy beliefs, clear standards, and each child's potential. We are a very small county, so with that, it's just me as the SAP liaison for mental health. But we do have some resources, even though we are a very small county. So our system is different than most counties. So Potter County Human Services is a coordinated, comprehensive human services system which operates under a single administrative, fiscal, and program structure. So all of us are able to be in the same building, drug and alcohol, aging, ID, mental health, CYS, fiscal, and coordinated services. It's really awesome that we can all be in one building. I feel like it improves communication and collaboration amongst us all with the different departments, and a lot of our clients aren't just involved in like just mental health or CYS or drug and alcohol. They're all kind of connected, so it helps with the continued care. So Potter County, we're way up north. We actually have a pretty big county, but not very populated. We have a lot of rural area, it's very pretty up here, but not a lot of things to do for sure. For our student assistance program, we have 2 SAP liaisons. I am the person who does the mental health screenings in all of Potter County, and Katie Taylor does the drug and alcohol screenings. We have 5 school districts in Potter County. It's Austin, Coudersport, Gailton, Northern Potter, and Oswego Valley. And like I said before, Potter County is located in a very rural area. Actually, Austin and Gailton have the elementary, middle, and high school all in one building. And Austin School District is one of the smallest districts in the state. And so we don't really have a lot of kiddos, so it does help with having me be the CAPS coordinator and SAP liaison. For our utilization, so I started in the role of CAPS coordinator and the SAP liaison just about a year ago in November. So I have the data from that. So from November until now, I did 41 screenings for mental health. Katie Taylor also did separate, and I'm not sure what hers were. So I know before, with our county being so small, we have a main mental health care provider called Dickinson, and they were doing the screenings before about a year ago, and we have mental health specialists in each school. So through the SAP process, I do the screening, and if it's recommended that the student would benefit from meeting with a therapist, they have that opportunity to meet with the therapist in school instead of outside of the home or in the evenings. So to take that role of screening off of them so they can focus more on therapy, we put it on the county. So it's been a transition for about a year. We've been doing this, and it's been going pretty well. For feedback, some of the schools, and I don't know if it's just our area and the internet connections aren't the greatest. I also carry paper copies with me of the questions. I wrote everything down just in case I can't get connected to the internet because I was having some issues there. And I know that some of the students elaborate on questions. I mean, some of them it's hard to get them to talk, but some of them want to talk. So I was always, thinking about maybe if we had like additional spaces for more comments instead of just like sometimes, or, they might elaborate on different dreams or family situations. As far as the school districts, they really appreciate the quick and convenient results. So I also did some communication with the schools just to make sure they know the SAP process, because it was kind of being skipped on the screenings in our county. So they've just been referring right to the mental health care provider. So our county is still working on making sure we go through the SAP process, but we're picking up and getting on the right page there. And all the students that I have screened so far said it was helpful to ask the questions, and most of them were open to having services or talking to somebody. So for the screenings, most of the students were female overall, and there was definitely more elementary versus high school screenings. So I know that there were some struggles with that too. I would go in and there's referrals for like kindergartners or first graders, and it is nice to actually see the kiddo in person because there's some nonverbal things that you can pick up on. But I have learned over the past year that for a certain age, it's better to just call the parent and do the referral or get some information from the teachers as well. And then the behavioral health scores. This was just for the adolescents. So there's a lot of depression and anxiety present, and trauma. Not as much substance abuse, and there was some history of suicidal ideation, but I haven't been in any crisis modes during a screening that someone was at risk, and not as much eating disorder in this area. So COVID impact on SAP services. So I'm sure as in our county, as all of our counties, it's been a challenge for all the schools and mental health of the students and faculty. Like I said, I like the conveniency of being able to do the screenings, to send the screenings to the parents through email or completing them over the phone. I know it's been a challenge for the schools to identify and connect with the students who are strictly online or doing blended. And currently in Potter County, our cases are pretty high, but the school districts all offer in-person or blended options for the students. And I must say that most of the students are attending in person at this time. So overall, it's been going well in the past year. I did present the SAP process to each of the school districts in Potter County before the school year started this year, if they had any questions, and with the referral process and whether to contact Katie or myself, and then doing the screening and continue on from there. The screening tool is simple and convenient to use, which is wonderful. Most students say that it is helpful to ask the questions in the screening. The results accumulate quickly and are easily comprehensible, and the school districts are appreciative of the data. Also, as my role as the CASP coordinator, it's been a transition that I can say from some of the kiddos that I've screened through SAP. There were significant trauma, depression, or some family issues that I could, I would go through and do the screening and give the results to the parents and the teachers, and then decided from there that a CASP referral would be best. So I'd put a meeting together and then connect those children and families with, services in the home or something more intensive. So I will say that, being a rural county, it is nice to be in both of those roles to make sure the follow through is going through for each kid who needs that additional support. And then I have my contact information on there, my email, our office number, and our website for Potter County Human Services. If anybody has any other questions or anything, just feel free to reach out, or if there's any questions that I can answer now, I'd be happy to.
So Kayla, this is Marjorie with MD Logics. Thank you for the presentation. I'm just curious. So with the internet connection, was that, do you feel that at some point soon that might be rectified, or is it always going to be in which you will need to have paper copies with you?
I am always one that has a plan B, so I'm probably always going to keep my paper copies just in case, because I know, I mean, the schools have internet, but I know even like getting service in some of the schools is impossible. So if I don't have a phone, like having a meeting at the school, I would have to use one of their phones. I don't know, like I said, it might just be the rural county.
Right.
Yeah, we don't have the greatest internet up here, but I probably will still keep my paper copies. But I do honestly like doing them that way sometime. Like I just did 2 screenings yesterday at our schools, and the kids have a little extra to say, so I can jot my own notes. So when I'm done with the screening, I have a big binder and I put all of that together with the parent contact information, so I can look back and see, okay, well, he elaborated on this, or, you know.
Right. Well, I definitely understand rural areas. My parents are still in Fayette County, Pennsylvania, which is the Pittsburgh side, and their internet connection is really slow and not as reliable. So thank you for the presentation, though.
Absolutely.
Do we have any additional questions or comments for Kayla?
I have a question. So first and foremost, amazing presentation. Thank you. It's really cool to see how other counties handle and manage SAP. My question is regarding your particular admin structure. So saying that all the departments are in one building, and having better collaboration. Can you tell me, does that lead to shorter wait times to get connected to services, or is it like other counties where because of COVID, things are longer, like 3-4+ months?
Right. Yeah. No, I completely understand that. I think it all depends on, like, we definitely do have wait lists, not that go out 3 to 4 months though. We are lucky in this county that we definitely have options for providers. Like we have an MST program, we have family-based through Concern and SendClear, and Dickinson. So, and we have an MSP program and wraparound services from a couple different providers. Right now, it's just been finding people. So there's been a lot of transitions of staff going from one company to another, or even with the schools, there's just been this weird transition. One principal came to another one. So there is a little bit of a wait list, but I feel like with the communication and everything and teams working together, because children and youth might have an idea that we wouldn't have, or, you know, with intellectual disability or drug and alcohol, it's nice to have everybody on the same page and to use resources together.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Guy, you had a question?
Yeah, thanks for the great talk. I was just curious what you think about the low substance use reporting, and whether you have a sense that kids are underreporting or that you're actually getting low rates. And one variation of that, are you Teeter, are they looking at days of use or are they looking at the substance abuse criteria score? When
It's a
they,
score. It's a scale score, so it's the latter.
so one thing we have found is that a lot of kids don't meet the threshold for the scaled score, which is actually the old criteria for substance abuse, meaning use and impairment. And what we find to be more helpful, more descriptive is really when you look at days of use, because kids do report that. And there's a wide range of how much marijuana they're using, how much alcohol, how many cigarettes, how many other drugs they're using. And we actually have some findings, about kind of different patterns of kids based on days of use. So I'd recommend looking at all of you sort of taking a look at that variable rather than the scaled score. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know that
You-
Katie Taylor does our drug and alcohol screenings. As far as that, I did touch base with her earlier today. And I know she's been proactive with going to most of the schools already and doing educational pieces. I know that there's a lot of vaping cases in the school.
Yeah, right.
And whenever they find a vape or hear of somebody doing it, they'll make the referral to Katie. And she'll do the screening. I don't have her data because I just handle the mental health side, although she does attend
Yeah.
most of the SAP meetings like I do. But I'm sure most of it is like underreported and it's just if they get caught in school.
Yeah. Yeah, and there actually is a vaping question on the BHS too. So, as you're screening, you would get a little glimpse of that as well.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's just not being honest about it or it's been very minimal that I see. It's definitely depression, anxiety are the most.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, good.
I think to further what Guy said about looking at the usage, I think when we looked at the data just for usage, it's been much higher than the students that they've used, but they're not saying they're impaired, so you wouldn't have that abuse score. So, usually when we looked at the SAP data in the past, it's been about 35, 36% substance usage endorsement, while the abuse criteria has been around the average, the national average around 4 to 6%. So
Yeah.
if you look at those variables, I think that'll show that they are reporting some usage. Any last bit of questions for comments for Kayla? All right. Well, thank you, Kayla. It's a great presentation.
Thank you.